Hey everybody and welcome back to the SHOEGAZER channel, where we talk about effect pedals, exciting music gear, home production and more, all around the beautiful noise and otherworldly soundscapes. This is the LOSSY by Chasebliss Audio. This one is a very special one because I don't know any effect pedal that does something like this pedal does. Some people swear on analog gear and analog recording methods, and I totally get that because I'm also a big fan of that. Analog gear has sometimes these little mistakes, something like tape wobbling or tape distortion or dust that you can hear when you're listening to a vinyl record or even when you're listening to an old tape. Some effect pedals and plugins out there try to imitate those effects to give your instruments or recordings a vintage feel, but what the LOSSY does is completely the opposite. It uses digital quality loss. You could say, okay, it's a bit crusher then. No, it's kind of artistically imitating the sounds that you hear when you have a very bad phone call with your mom. Not because of the content you were talking about, I mean because of the quality of the phone connection. Everyone has experienced it. Sometimes the voices on a phone call get a little bit alienated and glitchy, and you ask yourself, whoa, what was that? Was it an alien? Is someone listening to my calls? But actually it was just bad connection. And now you can connect your instrument to this pedal and do the exact same thing. But I'd say with more than a million possibilities. Maybe you remember the early 2000s when you downloaded your first songs from the internet and didn't buy a CD, or when you ripped an MP3 from a CD-ROM. Sometimes you get very bad results in sound quality. And this is exactly what the LOSSY does. And I really love it for that, and I want to show you now how it works. So the LOSSY is separated in different sections. The first one here is the filter section. Then you have a reverb knob that you can add in front of the LOSSY signal or after the LOSSY signal using this switch here on top. I really love the Chasebliss Audio pedals have always these nice switch section here to customize your sound even more. Here is the pre and post switch. Currently it's set to on, that means that the reverb signal comes after the loss signals, because I really like that. I also use the spread switch here, that means that I get a more exaggerated stereo image. This section is more interesting if you connect an expression pedal, for example. You can also use the LOSSY with MIDI information and expression pedal, as I just said. But let's talk about the knobs a little more. You have a filter knob, you have a frequency knob, and you have a slope switch. So you have the filter knobs here, you have the reverb knob, you have a global knob, which means this is how much you will hear of the overall effect of the pedal. If it's set to 0, you will hear the original sound that you send in. You have a loss section here, these two knobs and these two switches. First you have the loss itself, that means it controls the depth and the strength of the overall loss and packets effects here. The speed knob controls the digital packets. Are they extremely fast or are they just slightly coming in? You have a packets switch here. On the left side you have packets repeat that fills the spaces of pocket loss with frozen audio. And on the right side you have packet loss that recreates the skips and spaces of a bad connection. Then there is a mode switch. If it's centered, it's in standard mode, so this one is kind of a data compression and recreates a low bitrate of digital MP3. If it's on the left side, you are in inverse mode, that means everything stripped array in standard mode. And then you have the right side, this is the jitter mode. It creates inaccuracies in phase and timing due to imperfect clocking. Then you have here a switch if you want to save presets. For example, on this side you have one preset and on the right side you have also one preset. In the middle it's in noodle around mode, I'd say. It just does everything that you do to the pedal. Alright, and if you hold both of the switches you have hidden modes. Then the filter knob becomes a gate mode, that means when should the LOSSY cut off all the sounds. You can also set up the reverb decay, so how long will the reverb sound. I like the extremes here, I think you can imagine that. Also the loss gain, so how loud will the loss sound appear to your ears. And you can do much more, but for now I want to show you some sound examples. So the LOSSY is now engaged, but I turn down the global knob, so you hear just the clean sound. So now let's turn up the global knob to the middle. 100%. So you can see how extreme it can appear. So let's turn down the speed knob a little bit. The filter section has here a control for the width of the filter. So in the beginning there will be no filtering, and turning it up gradually introduces filtering and narrows it to focus on a specific range. And the frequency knob controls the range of the filter, so moving the center of the frequency. So here you have also a little slope switch. On the left side is 6 dB, in the middle is 24 dB, and on the right is 96 dB, so very intense and highly emphasized filtering. So let's try this and let's see how it sounds. So let's turn down the filter again and let's check out the packet switch. This one is called packet repeat, so it fills spaces of packet loss with frozen audio. How does it sound when I add some distortion to my guitar? So let's check out the other packets mode. This one is called packet loss, and it recreates the skips and spaces of a bad connection. Let's add the filter again. That's really cool. I can just turn it in a little bit and then my original guitar sounds a little more interesting. Let's check out the modes. The right one is called Jitter. That means inaccuracies in phase and timing due to imperfect clocking. Let's hear how that sounds. Nice. And the left side is the inverse mode, so everything stripped away in a standard mode. Wow, it sounds cool. So let's hear how the reverb sounds. Okay, first I turn down the complete lossiness. We also have a switch here called All Wet. Let's see what that does. I strip it back. So now you don't hear my dry signal anymore. So let's see what happens when we use the hidden section here by pressing both foot switches and turn up the reverb a little more. So let's get back to the usual mode. So what happens when we switch inward? Oh, that sounds very scooped now. And the last thing we want to try is using an expression pedal. As long as I don't change anything here, the expression pedal controls the global knob. I use this Nectar expression pedal and I lay it down to my feet. I will just slowly push it and you will hear what it does. So yeah, this is what Lossy does, so I hope you got a little impression of it. I think it's very interesting, especially in combination with an expression pedal, to use it live, that you distort some of your beautiful guitar signal and create some very interesting digital soundscapes. And I also think that it could be very nice layering it in stereo, because all the different packs here that you hear, all the different noises on the left and on the right, they could create a very interesting stereo image when layering it in a studio. This could create a very unique guitar sound that nobody has heard maybe so far, I'm not sure, but Chasebliss Audio has definitely created something unique here, and I really thank them with all my heart for sending it to me, because I love this company for so long now and I never got a chance to get my hands on one of those pedals. Thanks for watching and I hope to see you next time. See you later.